Hello, everyone. I'm Danny, and welcome to our podcast. Today, Great.com talks with Barry KuKes, the Community Outreach Director of Halifax Humane Society. If you haven't heard about them yet, they have been helping animals for over 85 years, working now as a no-kill shelter with a live release rate of 95%. This is relevant, people. Pay it attention. And if you're new here, to this podcast, remember to press subscribe on YouTube or in the app that you're listening it right now. Hello, Barry, and welcome to Great Talks.
Hi, Danny. How are you today?
I'm great, and you?
I'm doing fine. Thank you for asking.
No. Well, I want to begin today just asking a little bit about the context that you're working on now, because you're operating in Florida at Daytona Beach, right?
That's correct.
So can you give us a little bit of context of how the situation of animal protection and animal rescuing in this area?
Well, it's Florida, so it's like Brazil. It's always pretty warm. So there's a time of season called kitten season. And kitten season in the Midwest in the United States, it's not that long. It usually runs from about May through October because the weather gets warmer and the cats get a little more active. Here, the cats are always active because it's always warm. So we have kitten season year round here in Florida. So because of that, we have lots of cats. So we have to deal with that more so than someone else. Florida is also prone to fighting rings for dogs. So they have pit bulls that are bred specifically for a fighting ring. And it's illegal. It shouldn't be done. But because of that, there's a lot of pit bulls in our area. So although we have golden retrievers and schnauzers and poodles that do come into the shelter, we also have a lot of pit bulls that come in. They take a little longer to get adopted, but we just keep them. We just had one that was named Petey, and Petey was with us for 1 year and 7 days. So we kept him here until he found his forever home. So we don't euthanize because of capacity or because of issues. The only time we euthanize is if an animal is terminally ill, if an animal has been injured by a car or a predator, or if their behavior is so out of control that they're not safe to place in a home with a child or another animal.
I got it. And I'm actually quite glad that you mentioned it already, because as I said, people to pay attention to it. Being a no-kill center, no-kill space means something, but I feel like there is a difference between what I think theoretically what that means and what actually happens in reality. So if you could give us some clarity on that, I would very much appreciate it.
Sure. No, again, no kill. We don't like to use that terminology because when we say we're no kill, then there's another shelter who doesn't have the statistics, and then they are considered a kill shelter, which really isn't fair. So no kill, industry standard, you have to have a 90% release rate. So once you get to 90%, you're considered no kill. There's no such thing as a zero kill because you're always going to have animals in distress who have been injured, who are terminally ill, and it would be inhumane to have them just keep them in a cage until they die on their own. So we do the humane thing in that case. But to strive to become, to become no kill, it's a challenge for everybody. Much less us. We're an open admission shelter, which means that we don't turn away anyone. So anybody brings us an animal, we don't say, oh, no, we have too many of those, go somewhere else. We take in everything. So to be open admission and no kill, it's almost impossible to do. And we've got a well-tuned machine here that helps us do that with promotions, partners, transports, foster parents, all types of programs to help us achieve. In 2012, just to give you a frame of reference, 2012, we had a 40% live release rate. So what that means is 60% of the animals were euthanized. That's a high kill shelter. 10 years later, we're at 95.95% live release and only 4.5. And those animals, again, it's only because they have injuries or are very ill. So we're very proud of that. And maintained it's very simple and easy for a shelter to only accept poodles. Okay, let's say. Okay, you bring, oh, I'm sorry, we don't take that dog. We don't take German Shepherds. We don't take pit bulls, but we take poodles. Well, you'd say poodles all day long. You can get them adopted in a day. Everybody wants a poodle, but it's the other animals that we cannot get adopted as readily. So we're very proud of the fact we achieved our goal faster than we wanted. It's been that way since 2020, and we don't see it going backwards.
Wow, and you should be truly proud about that, because as a pet owner myself, I adopted my dog, and well, it's the greatest thing that has happened, as I mentioned to you before. But I know the reality of having like these shelters with so many animals that have like, or actually that do not have any pedigrees, that are just stray dogs or something like that, that stay for too long and take too long to get adopted. So it's a really huge thing. You should be proud of that. And talking about it, what are the services that the Halifax Humane Society are actually providing right now?
Well, we have over 36 different programs. Okay, so over and above our foster program, with a large group of foster parents that take care of litters of kittens that come to us. That people have a terrible habit, and if people are listening out there, don't do this. They pick up litters of kittens that they find at a park or by a gas station. They go, oh, look, there's 8 kittens and there's no mom. I'll take them to Humane Society. Well, mom is out hunting, okay, for food, so she can produce more milk. So because she's not there with her kittens doesn't mean she abandoned them. That's very, very seldom that happens. So people think they're doing the right thing, and they're really not. They're separating a mom from her kittens. Now we have to find a foster that will bottle feed these babies. Kittens have to be bottle fed every 3 hours. So it's not, if you have 8 kittens and you got to feed one every 3 hours, by the time you get done with the last one, you got to start on the first one again. So people just have, that's a misnomer. They're not educated. So they should just leave the kittens alone and be fine. So our foster program is very important. We have a volunteer program. We have over 500 volunteers that come and help us on a regular basis. Probably about 100 of them are extremely active. So they do really, really well. But without our volunteers, we couldn't exist. They save us, last year alone, they saved us about $1 million in what we would have paid in labor to staff to do the things that they do. So that's important. We have programs like Beach Buddies. Beach Buddies is a program that you can take a dog out for a day or for a weekend and just do an overnight, kind of a sleepover, see how things go. And, if it doesn't work out, you just bring them back, and there's no judgment. It's fine. But a lot of times people, it's not easy to go to a shelter and pick out a dog and say, okay, that's the dog for me. And then not know exactly. Sometimes spending some time with the dog or the cat is much easier that way. We have transport and transfer partners. So we work with all kinds of humane societies throughout the United States. So a lot of times, let's say Charleston, South Carolina, a hurricane's coming towards them and it's not coming towards us. Well, they need to get the animals out of the shelter. So they'll call us and say, hey, can you guys take our animals? By all means. So they bring them to us. Vice versa, if we have a hurricane coming to Florida, we've got to bug out. So then we get the animals over to South Carolina. We all work together to make sure that the animals are taken care of. And that's the goal.
I love it. And browsing through your website, which I'm going to tell people to go to halifaxhumanesociety.org, I saw 2 things that I found it very interesting. The first one are your educational programs. I feel like this is a visionary thing, a visionary way to look at the situation, because it's not just about finding homes, but also teaching the young ones how to take care of animals in perspective. And another one that caught my eye was Dolly's Dream Dog. I love that. So if you could tell us a bit more about those 2 things, I'd love it.
Our educational programs for kids, we have a summer camp, a winter camp, and a spring camp. Winter and spring are only about a week long. Our summer camp is 9 weeks of the same camp over 9 times. So it's the same presenters, but we get about 20 to 25 kids, ages 6 to 13, that come to summer camp. It runs from 8 o'clock in the morning till 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We have people come in who are professional dog trainers. We have our behavioral manager come in and talk about how you can judge the behavior of an animal and how to approach an animal correctly, when to stay away from an animal. We have other presenters that come in, our veterinarian, who is our Dr. Green. She comes in and makes kids either pass out or throw up. Because she'll show them things that are a little too much, and we say, "Dr. Green, please, you're 6 years old, okay?" I'm joking. It happened one time. I'm joking, but the little girl she couldn't. She was looking at a stone that was about. This is going to be radio, not video, but it's about the size of maybe a tennis ball, okay? And that was a bladder stone inside a little Dachshund dog. So
Wow.
the dog was only about a foot long, but it had a huge tennis ball, and it's hard as a rock. It's a stone. It's a bladder stone. So she was just freaked out. She couldn't imagine that, and she kind of got a little crazy. But anyway, so they get a lot of presentations. They're given a lot of information. It's very important too. We present animals equally. Okay, there's a big thing as far as diversity and inclusion and as far as being equal. And we try to make that happen in camp too, so the kids can relate to it. So all because the dog's black doesn't mean you treat it differently. They're treated all the same. They're all animals. We all love them the same way. Because sometimes kids relate to that. Well, that dog's being mistreated like I'm mistreated. And we don't want that to ever happen. So we strive to make sure the kids are comfortable if they have any questions about anything. And it goes a long way, and they really appreciate that. So that's our summer camp programs. And the same thing happens at winter and spring camp. Only, like I said, it's a shorter camp. It's only, basically, it's not the same camp every day. It's just 1 week of camps. And it's really around the holiday season when they have spring break from school and winter break at the holiday time. Dolly's Dream Dog is a program that's a grant that we have been with now for probably about 4 years. That organization gives grants to organizations like ourselves and said, "Hey, we're helping pit bulls find homes." So they will pay the adoption fee and give us money to supply anybody who, it's called a bully breed. It's not necessarily referred to as a pit bull, but it's a bully breed that some people stay away from. So thanks to Dolly's Dream Dog, we've gotten probably about 200 dogs adopted to their program, through their program, because each grant that we get is about 12. We've had the grant maybe about 16 times so far. So maybe a little less than 200. But we give them, when somebody adopts, okay, I'm going to give this dog a chance. They also get about $400 worth of supplies and food. They get a crate, they get a leash, they get a bowl. They get basically a starter kit for somebody who has never had a dog. So there's been times where people have taken the dog and then the dog's brought back a week later and they don't have the stuff anymore because they sold it all. Well, that's going to happen. You've always got that element of somebody who's gets away with something, But overall, the program's been a great program, and we really embrace it a lot. It helps us move bully breed dogs, and they find their forever homes that way.
I honestly found that idea brilliant because, well, I have a huge dog. Let's put it that way. I think he's like around 60 pounds or something like that. He's quite big. And well, I think he's a mixed breed of a bully breed, something like that. And he looks tough. He looks like this bulk boy, but he's around an year. He's like the sweetest heart of all. And, and I have this feeling that whenever I walk him on the street, people are afraid of him just by looking at him.
Right.
So, yeah, I when I saw that, I was quite touched, because I feel that this is a breed of dog that people usually don't want to adopt because they have such prejudice on it. And when you have not only a program that teaches people or helps people how learn how to deal with that dog, but also incentivizes in even financial ways, sure. It's brilliant. Honestly, I think it helps out so much, and I was personally touched by that. I confess. And what types of kinds of animals do you receive in your center?
Oh, we received quite a large difference of different species as well. We have dogs, we have cats, we have birds, we have guinea pigs, we have rabbits, we have ferrets, we have rats, um, we have iguanas that will be brought in. Bird-wise, we'll have like huge blue macaws, really big birds that people they outlived their owner. They can live to be 100 years old. So then the relatives bring the bird to us to find a new home for it. So, I mean, we have a large array of different things, lots of rabbits, especially around Easter. Hamsters, we don't do like a lot of snakes or if any kind of aquatic like turtles or things. There's another organization called the Marine Science Center that's in the same area, and they take care of aquatic. So we don't get involved with that. Years ago, we used to take care of horses, but then you have to have a certain amount of property per horse, and it got to the point we just couldn't supply that anymore. So we stopped doing that. We get pigs in every once in a while. A regular farm pig will come in, and sometimes pot-bellied pigs will come in as well. So there's a large difference. I mean, we all kinds of animals. The majority are cats and dogs for up for adoption. But there's people who will adopt other animals like rabbits and guinea pigs and hamsters too.
Wow, you work with a quite wide range of that then.
yeah, we do.
And following the lead that you mentioned before about not taking the cat litter to your sender, what is the best way to help animals in danger in your area?
Well, it's to report it to animal control. We have we work with 13 different municipalities of animal control. It's usually a division of each separate police department. So we're under contract with them. So animal control, they don't have their own dog pound, for lack of a better word. They don't have nowhere to take them for their area. So they bring them to us. And that's how we get animals on that intake wise. So animals come to us either from animal control, through somebody finding a stray animal on the street, or someone surrendering. That's how we get our animals. And a lot of times people, going back to the kitten thing, they find the animal on the street and they say, oh, I'll take this in right away. Where in that case, you really should leave that alone. A lot of times there's feral cats. We have a large abundance of feral cats. We have what's called TNR program. It's trap, neuter, return. So we work with animal control. They trap the feral cats. They bring them to us. We sterilize the cats, get them shots, or rabies shots and distemper shots, and then they go back to where animal control found them. Once they're fixed and they cannot basically reproduce, their whole attitude and their behavior changes. They're not crazy anymore. They're not going to the point of screaming at night. It's just it's a lot easier that way. So that's the solution to feral cats. Works out much better that way instead of euthanizing. A lot of people say, "Well, go kill the cats." Well, that doesn't really solve anything. Just more cats will find their way. A colony of feral cats stay together. So the only way you can do, if you sterilize the cats, they can't reproduce anymore, and over time the colony gets smaller and smaller, and then it's gone. So we've last year alone we did 10,000 spay-neuter sterilizations for cats and dogs. So that's a lot. We do that every year pretty much. And if each animal had an offspring of just 4, that's 40,000 more animals that would be out there today. So we eliminated that extra 40,000, and that's a good thing. So there's more than enough animals already. We don't need to have another 40,000.
Wow, yeah, those are huge numbers, honestly.
Right. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And moving to our final question today, what are the best ways for people to get involved with your cause and help you keep your efforts going on?
Well, the best way would be to donate. Okay, so I mean, cash is king, and we love people who donate. We have some very generous donors that help us a lot. We are self-sufficient. We get no money from the government, state, local, city, or federal. We get no money from national organizations like Humane Society of the United States or ASPCA. So we're self-sufficient. We have to raise our own funds to survive. So if you can donate and see it in your heart to say, hey, I'll help those guys down in Florida take care of some doggies and some kittens, we'd love it. Visit our website at halifaxhumanesociety.org. At the very top, there's a button that says donate, and it takes you right there, and you can donate as little as you want or as much as you like. Or if you want to do it on a regular basis, that'd be great. Other ways, if you're in the area of Daytona Beach, volunteer, help us out that way. Sometimes, even if you're not, even if you want to volunteer and help us do administrative things, I'll do posts to your website. I'll help you do some filing as far as electronic. Those are the things you could do long distance. But if you're local, you can help us walk dogs, feed cats, enrichment, and so on. So that's another way to help us. And just visit us and keep, we always say, we don't care where you adopt from as long as you adopt. So please adopt, don't shop. Okay. There's no reason to go to a pet store or breeder. I mean, there's certain pet stores we supply the cats. Okay. Like at PetSmart and some pet supermarkets. So those cats that you see at those stores are our cats, at least in this area. Okay. So, and that's fine. But to go to a breeder that's charging $300-400 for a dog or thousands of dollars for a dog, there's no reason for it. There's lots of dogs here that need homes, and they'll be loving dogs. They'll be good dogs. They'll thank you forever for giving them a home. So by all means, please try to do that instead of, and again, whether it's from us or any other shelter in the world, just go ahead and adopt from a shelter.
Yeah, well, I agree 100% with that. Adopt, don't shop.
Yeah.
And that was a great, great talk. Thank you so much for sharing all of this with us today, Barry. I loved
You're
it.
welcome. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Our pleasure.
We appreciate the advertisement, the promotion. If we can get people to, again, adopt, don't shop, that'd be great. It's a major accomplishment.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And honestly, our pleasure. We're here for this. This is what motivates us. And for everyone listening, also, thank you so much for staying here with us. And if you enjoyed this conversation, as I said, remember to like and subscribe in all podcast apps, YouTube, anywhere you're watching it, because we need to get this word around. And the more that actually you remember to subscribe, the algorithms get the message and we get this word around. All right. See you at the next episode. Bye-bye.